Okay, this is my roving SLT. My, some of my parts came in. The these hubs here and the carriers and the new bearings, all that's in. So I'm going to change that out. Um, to date, I haven't designed any homemade parts for this thing because it's proven to be quite durable based on its size, but the weight is increased exponentially. Um, and impact velocity, should it hit anything, due to the weight of the gasoline engine. And it's had a couple of hard smacks, but most of it was due to it being used, and a couple of screws came out, and I found out they didn't have threads in them, and blah 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 blah. Because con artists grow on trees. Because this country is a me country now. It's not a we country anymore, and that's going to continue to prove more dangerous day by day. Um, these school shootings and the politics of life in this country, where opinions are as separate as peas and carrots on a plate. We're not a cohesive people anymore. Um, and as a veteran, I see this every day. I get on the internet and people talk about what they personally don't like. I don't like this because, I don't like that because, you know, there's a lot of things I don't like, and I don't, it's some things you have to deal with. If it becomes a matter of like, then nothing's ever going to get done about it. You gotta look at some of these things that you don't like, and the life is a compromise. And when you don't compromise, you lose, more often than not. Um, there's another saying that goes with that. Something is better than nothing. Any ground gained is better than losing ground. And when you don't compromise, more often than not, you tend to lose ground. I don't know. I just don't know. I'm watching the news this morning, and they were talking about AR-15s, and this very prominent show was on, and they were talking about how in 1980 the military was looking at the AR-15 as the new weapon, and we're saying that if we had the AR-15 in Vietnam, we would not have lost the war. Well, you know, the military didn't lose the war. That's number one. To backtrack on the fresh parts of it. Number two, we had something a lot meaner than the AR-15 in Vietnam. It was called the M16, which the AR-15 is a variant of. And to get you straight, take it from a guy who builds rifles. And I've built a lot of rifles. There's stuff in this room. If I took 2 days off, I could build a rifle and guarantee sub MOA accuracy. And I could do it in 48 hours with the stuff that's in this room because the parts are here. Okay. So let's get a couple things straight. An AR-15 is not an assault rifle. Okay. An assault rifle, any assault weapon, is a weapon that when you hit the switch, it fires fully automatic. One press of the trigger fires rounds until the mag is empty, as long as you're holding that trigger. An assault rifle is a machine gun. An AR-15 is not a machine gun. It's just a semi-automatic rifle. I've got 22 caliber rifles that hold 20 rounds in a tubular magazine. It's a semi-automatic rifle. It is no different than the AR-15, with the exception that the case on the AR-15 is larger, because the bullets in my 22 caliber long rifle Marlin semi-automatic rifle are the same diameter as the projectiles in the AR-15 and the M16. There are videos on YouTube that show how when ammo was low, people were taking the projectiles out of the smaller rounds and using them to load in their AR-15 rounds. The ammo supply got that bad. Well, I got molds, so I can make my own, but I didn't be bothered with that. Um, but folks, having opinions is a dangerous thing, because in the world of digital technology and social media, when you put your personal opinion out there for everybody to see, and you're a normal citizen with no military background and no serious training on how to protect yourself, you make yourself a target for the people who disagree with you. So y'all be careful with that. Y'all be careful with that. You got to think for a minute. Who's watching this and why are they watching? There are haters everywhere. Everywhere. They grow on trees. You know? It's like sex. Some people are so, gotta go out here and get this date. If I was gonna be out there in the streets after something, I'd be after the money, cause, you know, a woman to sleep with you before she give you her money. And if that's all you want out of life, you know, you'll go home with a case of crabs before you go home with a wallet full of money. So, dude, I don't know. That's an opinion. That's an opinion. The gun debate thing is getting ready to heat up because of these kids. And they're right. They shouldn't have to worry about being shot up in a school. Are they going to take away all the guns? No, they're not. There's too many of them. They'd start a war. And, as soon as you start killing soldiers' families, soldiers going to go home and be with their family. So they ain't going to do that. Will they pass laws to make them harder to get? Yeah, they will. But they ain't going to stop it. Because if they stop and make it illegal, then only criminals will have guns, and there'll be no good guys to stop any of them. They ain't getting ready to do that, because as we have all seen on the news the last 6 months, the knuckleheads got guns. And if they can't get one from the gun store, they just go out into the hood. They'll find them. They're everywhere, because they steal as many as they sell. So y'all leave that alone. Don't put yourself out there on Front Street with opinions about we should do this and we should that, because we doesn't exist in this country anymore. Because everybody wants to be in charge. We got a lot of chiefs. We don't have any Indians, and the chiefs are not willing to stand up for their Indians. They just want all their Indians to stand up for them. Leadership is a privilege. The best leaders were people who made good followers, because those leaders understand what the followers need. And until the values in this country go backwards to a time when everybody cared about everybody else, until we go back there ain't no moving forward. We have hit the cesspool of stop signs. Okay? Because as long as we don't care nothing about nothing but ourselves, when we run out and be on empty, well, if we were acting like everybody else, who's going to care? Who's going to care? I'm a 64-year-old vet. I'm self-sufficient. I was trained to be self-sufficient. But the we has always been important. And I'm going to give you a serious example as it relates to our children. I started a program a little over a year ago called SUAFR. SUAFR, Straighten Up and Fly Right. I take these drones and I go out to challenge kids, white, black, Spanish, whatever. Si los negros comprenden por las populación. So I'm bilingual, Spanish, French, German, some Russian, Ukraine. And so the neighborhood or the school or the people didn't matter. But if you had a kid that just needed some different kind of attention, I would work with him. And my thing was, if you behave, I'll come by on Saturday and teach you to fly. And if you behave for a month, I'll give you a drone. Well, I started out with about 30 drones. I've given them all away except that last one right there. That's a Blade QX. That's a teeny tiny little drone, but it's not cheap. That's $60. It's my money. They weren't donated. They didn't arrive in a magic carpet. I bought and paid for them with my own money. And people would not support that program simply by using it. Two things were required. Share what you've learned so that somebody else can get help. And do you know what? Once they realized they weren't going to get something tangible that they could sell or use to get more money for something, they had no interest. They could care less if the kid needed it or not. There was no support for the program, and it cost nobody nothing. No support, because they wanted it to be all about them, so they wouldn't share it for whatever reason. The few people that I got to deal with, they wanted to treat me like, they wanted to call me on Wednesday, hey, can you come over and teach him today and again on this? And this is, no, that's not how the program was. They wanted me to change how I run the program to suit them. And this was 90% of the time. Nobody's spending any money. Nobody's donating any time. I couldn't even get other flyers to help with the program. They had zero interest in helping anybody. Zero. I kept my logs, my visitation logs. The school system wasn't interested. Private citizens weren't interested. Everybody, the couple of people I did talk to that sat down with me, they kept asking me what I wanted out of it. And I says, I already got what I want. I've had a great life. I've had money. I've had no money. I've had 40-foot boats and 30-foot boats. My videos of being offshore up in the Jersey and New York area in one of my boats is online. It's on YouTube. Not on the same channel, but it's up there. And anybody who wants to see the boat and me arguing with one of my Italian buddies about where we going as we heading towards the Maranzano Bridge at 40 knots, I'll link it up. No problem. I got videos of the firearm stuff going on. Builds, tricks, tools, tips, law enforcement officers carrying my rifles, coming up to my job sites, walking up to me with their rifle and giving it to me in daylight in front of everybody else, saying, Phil, what do you think about this? What can you do with this? Blah, 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 blah. This, you don't never know who you talk to. And I understand what my grandfather was saying. He says, treat everybody, whether you like them or not, like you want to be treated. Don't call people out their name when you get mad. Don't cuss them out and get crazy when you get mad, because when you do that, you become them. That which you hate. If you become that which you hate, then you need to just shut up and go sit in the corner someplace, because you're just waiting on your next flip. And you the one flipping, so whatever. So people out there complaining about what's going on, come together, get together. If you're complaining singularly about what you don't like, and you're just another talking head, people need to get back with the word people. People means more than one. I'm sitting here, I'm unable to go outside. The only communications that I have with a lot of people are right here on this YouTube channel and watching these different programs. I even watch Fox News sometimes, and I laugh when I do, because Fox News is banned in other countries because they won't allow people to broadcast what are obvious lies, and anybody who fact checks the stuff that comes out of Fox and even some of these other shows, anybody who fact checks these guys, will find that most of them are lying. And the sad part about it is, oh, the liberals and the far this and the far that. Really? You know, when I look at the flag doesn't say liberal. The flag doesn't say left or right. The flag says United States of America. So, you know, you wanted a war, you got a war. The war is social. And everybody loses. Because once the people go against the people, the politicians win. They will continue to do what they're doing. They will continue to give themselves pay raises while they take bread out of the mouth of babies and try to tell women what to do with their bodies and tell the honest, hardworking people what they can and cannot do. While out of the other side of their mouth, they're telling you, but you're free, you have rights. Yeah, we have the right to sit down and shut up. Because if we get on your nerves, you will lock us up and throw away the bus. You know, and I didn't say key, I said bus, because they use a bus to park on us, and when they throw it away, we're under it, so we're gone. Okay, it took me 40 years to get the military to acknowledge that they took my hearing away from me. 40 years. Oh, the VA is a great place. Blah blah blah. Really? Really? 17-inch titanium plate, 18 3-inch titanium screws, 6 heart attacks, heat poisoning, loss of hearing, on and on and on. There are vets who have come back from Afghanistan and had to get a lawyer to get their benefits. So, you know, y'all think we got it good? No, y'all got it good. Because y'all have the right to run your mouth because some of us ain't here no more. So make sure when you open your mouth that you got something to say that's worth hearing, to more than just you listening to yourself talk. The greatest country in the world with the most money has the highest per capita based on income of homelessness and unemployment. Oh, the unemployment rate's only 3%. That's the people who are still on the rolls. All these people who are no longer on the rolls are not counted when they start talking about unemployment. So there's a number fallacy, okay? There are a lot of people who are not on the rolls anymore. If you're not on the rolls, you don't count, so you're not measured. So they can say unemployment is, yeah, unemployment is 3 to 4% based on the rolls. We didn't get them millions of jobs that were lost in 2006 and 2007. We didn't get them back. Where are those people at? Well, unemployment went down. That's because they're dropped off the rolls, not because they created new jobs. We're going backwards, people. Technology is replacing people. And people are allowing profits to replace people. Individualism is going to kill this country. You know, Sylvester Stallone said it in one of his movies. It's one of the Rambo movies where people want him to go into Burma, and the Mercs show up, and he says, "You know what?" He says, "We are what we are." He says, "For what we've done and what we've been," he says, "we've been living for nothing." He says, "You gotta die for something. Don't die for nothing." So if you're gonna run your mouth for something. So people, what I'm asking you to do is sit back and think before you open your mouth. Sit back and think. Please do have an opinion. Learn how to share your opinion without the I, me. Because this is a we. There ain't nobody in this country that can run this country by themselves, live by themselves, do this, do that. You gotta have food. You got to have the dishes. You got to have that. And the only people who don't are the people who are living off the grid. And they don't count them neither. They're not on the rolls because they don't want to be bothered anymore. And if you notice, I haven't done my usual 3 to 4 videos a week because I'm toning back. You see more floor space in here because I'm packing up. I have to move. I have to leave Georgia. Headed to the Canadian border area, northern Maine, New Hampshire, because that's the average temperature range that will allow me to survive. I have to do what I have to do. And I'm not doing it based on anybody's opinion. I'm doing it as a matter of survival. I'm not going to tell you to stop running your mouth. I'm not going to tell you not to do this. I'm asking you to think about what you're doing and why you're doing it. Who are you listening to? I watch all you guys' channels, so when you guys open your mouth and start talking about political stuff, I can listen to you talk and know what you do and don't know. Okay? I'm not going to tell you how I know. I'm not going to tell you why I know. Because that's none of your business. You know, it's a matter of training and professionalism. The bottom line is, know what you're talking about. At least verify what you're talking about. Because they're winning, folks. As long as we don't agree on nothing, they can do whatever the hell they want. We can not like it all day. Because as long as we fighting about what they do against each other here, down here on the ground, they sitting up there with their cigars and $1,000 suits and laughing their ass off. Laughing their ass off. It's breaking my heart. You know, 23 of us joined up my high school in a bunch. In a bunch. 4 of us come home. 4 sad, wrecked people came home. No. Look around you. You taught your kids that nobody else mattered. That's how they're going to treat you. That's why nursing homes are doing so well, because parents taught their kids that nobody else matters. So now, young people don't want to own property. They don't want to pay taxes. They don't want to take care of their adults. They want what they want. That's why we got 40 and 50-year-old. I call them tit swingers because they're still hanging on mom and dad's ass. That's scary. That's scary. When I post this video, it will not say it's about the cars, because it ain't about the cars. It's about idiots and attitudes. And we got too many of both. Too much of either. There's no end in sight. If you made it to the end of this video, God bless you. You know, I don't mind listening to people that have something to say, but have something to say that's not based on what somebody else said. Have something to say based on knowing what the hell is going on. Anything else is just hot air in the joke. Hot air in the joke. No. God bless you. Thanks for watching. Mr. Field in the pits. See you later. Bye.